Dallas-based Abraham Medical Coding Coach LLC, where their motto is to coach, motivate, and train for success in the medical coding and healthcare compliance industry. Welcome to their studios.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I love it. Every now and then I get a topic of a discussion that we've not talked about before, or an area of industries, and this certainly is one of them. So speak to the important role that you play in helping the healthcare industry.
Okay, so I am a health information management coding professional, as well as a healthcare corporate compliance professional. And so pretty much with Abraham Medical Coding Coach, I took my experience as well as my education in this particular area and decided to brand it and offer it to others within the community and those within the industry itself.
That's awesome. So what are some of the compliances? Because, again, I'm a curious person. So what are some of the compliances that your clients need to adhere to that you're really helping them?
So when you speak of our clients, and this is more so from the healthcare industry aspect, it's just making sure that that particular healthcare industry is following protocol, following the rules and regulations as set forth by the government. And what that involves is ongoing audit, ongoing training, ongoing, or I say reassessing their corporate compliance or compliance plan or program.
I would think this is rightly so, a heavily regulated industry when you talk about healthcare.
Yes.
And so it's better for you to come in and say, here's some things you need to correct, than for the state to come in and say that.
Exactly. So I'm like the person before the bad, I won't say the bad person, but the big person. I would say the middle guy or the middle girl before the big guy or big girl comes in.
Yeah. Well, because you're not going to take away license or do anything like that, but you're going to tell them this is what you need to be doing. You need to address these issues.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So you have healthcare, you have business, you have the law. How do you kind of bring all of that together for the greater good?
Day by day. So again, because I am in medical coding, and that has been my background, and I'm also an online code. Well, more so a coding instructor, but in the sense of Abraham Medical Coding Coach, it is offered online for those who are interested in pursuing their certification and training in medical coding industry. Now, as a compliance professional, again, that is also based on my experience because I've worked in various corporate compliance departments with various healthcare entities across the U.S. So I'm able to, I would say, somewhat pivot. And currently I am in law school. And so and my focus is, again, on health law because health law or law was that, I would say, that childhood dream. So I was able to just bring I would call it the trifecta of healthcare, law, and business into one area, and healthcare just happens to be that area that I'm able to do so.
Well, it's a growing area too.
It is.
I mean, we hear so much more about healthcare today. I think because of the pandemic, and we got all these other things that are going on.
Yes.
So I'm kind of, we're a business show, so a lot of people who watch own businesses, and I'm just kind of taking your expertise. What kind of business do to maybe help make sure they're prepared to deal with a medical emergency? Because, if an emergency were to happen in the workforce, there's only so much time before they can call an ambulance. And do you have any sort of tips, any professional tips on what a job can do or an employer can do to kind of make the coder's job a little easier?
So the good thing about coding, and this is, I guess, one of the main reasons a lot of individuals want to pursue it, is because it is a role or career path where it can be done in office or in facility, or as well as remotely. And so prior to the pandemic actually occurring, many of us were already remote. So that wasn't like a big change for us. It may be a change of more people in this space because of the pandemic. And so that is something that I'm assuming a lot of the entities are realizing that in a coding role that is one of the options you can have and still meet productivity. And then I would really stress maybe perhaps the work-life balance. Although we are in a remote setting, individuals still have lives outside of coding. So maybe with the productivity, not that we don't want them to be productive, but just kind of reconsider or take into consideration how that may impact someone again, although they are remote and they are working, that they still need that work-life balance. And I'm a big proponent of that because as an individual who did work for an entity, and I became burnout with the pandemic, and so it allowed me to take a step back and just really focus on I would say my healthcare, my self-care.
So if you're looking for a new career, certainly you can check it out. The website is Abraham Medical Coding Coach LLC.com. I want to make sure I get that in there. Yes. Abraham Medical Coding Coach LLC.com. There you see on the screen. And ballpark, because it probably varies in each market. You mentioned this is a job that people can do remotely. You know, what's the salary range look like for someone who's just getting started versus someone who's got experience?
So it varies depending on on the healthcare entity, and then like you said, the I would say the location and what the details are, what's required for that particular role. For someone who's starting out as a coder, I would say the minimum may start at 30,000 or probably 40, depending on, you know, again, and that's just strictly coding. And if you're coming into more so like, okay, I want to do compliance, then of course that rate is going to increase because now I would say you're the person who's hiring or the employer that's hiring already assume that you have some type of coding background as well as compliance, and so you're bringing both of those backgrounds together yes. And so because in the I would say in the auditing role, you're actually auditing healthcare clinicians as well as coders. So I hope that you have some form of knowledge or background in that area. So again, that varies as well. I've seen some, again, start at 30,000. I've seen some make six figures and more in this particular industry. So,
interesting.
Yes.
Got about 30 seconds. How did you get in this industry? What first attracted you about it?
Okay, how did I get in this industry? I hate to say I lied. I really didn't lie. I went on a job interview, and the employer asked if I knew how to code, and I said yes. But I spoke to a relative who was in the medical industry, and I was like, okay, you know, I think I may have lied. And so when I spoke with her, it was my aunt. And she said, if you can read, you can code. And I could read, so I could code. So that's how I got in.
And if you want to be even better at it and find a new career, I'll tell you what, the place to go again, Abraham Medical Coding Coach LLC.com. Thanks so much for coming in and sharing your industry. Stick around. This is Create, Build, and Manage Daily.